Looks like we're getting ready to take that next leg up. Wade Teamer here, back with some more XDC network news. We're up 12% at time of recording, and I think it has something to do with the excitement around what prime numbers just announced last evening. The first lending and borrowing platform is on its way to the XDC network. And in this thread, which I retweeted, they pointed out something to me about total value lock, which is the total value locked on a particular blockchain, and its correlation to price. When a blockchain has a lot of TVL, that simply means that people trust the project. That also implies that there is less supply on the market, which means that it's easier to push the price as there is less sell pressure. That makes sense. Usually when you lock up a token, it doesn't expose itself to the network. Now, when we go over here to DeFi Llama, we look at the total value locked for the XDC network. As of right now, we're sitting at 5.47 million. And as I was going through this chart, yes, you can see the correlation. It's a few points off, give or take. I'd have to do some more reading on the exact terminology to describe that deviation. But one thing I did notice was the fact is price tends to lag a little bit behind. It's once we get more total value locked, then the price action tends to follow, and it would explain in a way the pump that we saw recently, because you can see here from the end of December of last year all the way up until April, we were sustaining a lot of value on the XDC network, right? And then it was only then that you really started to see that price start to move to the upside, and then eventually culminating around the end of April, we sitting at 4 cents, right? Now, all of that summer action that we have been witnessing recently, that is coming from SBI VC Trade. We had the launch of the Fathom protocol. And what this is going to do, in essence, is just add to the list that we have right here. You can see XSwap, Globiance, Fathom Dex. These are all decentralized exchanges that run on the XDC network that allow value to be locked up, that allow you to lock up XDC tokens. That's going to be very crucial when it comes to price stability. It's a very effective mechanism that blockchains use to accrue value, right? Now, XDC is about to have 4 different channels to do that. You can see Ice Cream Swap down here, but they're running multiple pairs. XDC isn't getting all of that energy, which you can see why the total value locked is only $50,000. What Prime Numbers wants to do is bring lending and borrowing to the XDC network in a more sophisticated fashion, of course, focused at larger institutions. And the lending and borrowing, that is the core of decentralized finance. And as you can see, some of the biggest players in lending and borrowing, we have Aave, we have Maker, ICP, which is interesting. I'm more so familiar with them in relation to smart contracts, artificial intelligence, but hey, there's a lot of applications running on ICP. It's very strange that not a lot of people talk about it. We got a few videos on the channel here, but the point is, now the XDC network has the same capabilities as these projects, and you can see lending tokens take up a pretty decent amount of the market, guys. During the DeFi run, I remember coming in 2020 DeFi summer, if I remember correctly. Yes, these were the tokens that were leading the charge, that were leading the market. I remember hearing all about Maker, Aave, Maker and Compound. Really, Aave came a little bit later to me, but Maker and Compound was all people talked about during DeFi summer. Those type of things are making their way to the XDC network. Now, we've had a lot of activity, guys. Very interesting things to see coming from the XDC network, specifically this relationship right here. We're expanding into Australia. Now, at first, this really didn't, I was excited. I was happy, of course, more expansion for the network, but I was looking at it from the perspective of there's something else to that. Why Australia specifically? We already know that when it comes to digital trade, 40 days until the digital trade bill actually becomes law, September 20th. It got signed off on July 20th, which is funny. It's the same day as the Fed Now activation, but September 20th is the day that this thing becomes law, ladies and gentlemen, and the United Kingdom is getting prepared for it. And one thing I want you to remember is that the UK, they set the laws for the rest of the world when it comes to digital trade. All right. So once this thing gets into full circulation, yeah, we're going to see a ripple effect, no pun intended at all. But one thing that I found to be very interesting, XDC, Zenfin Network, they're coming out of Singapore, correct? Now they're aiming to get involved with Australia. Well, I found this little piece of information here. Australia, Singapore Digital Economy Agreement. This was signed back in December of 2020, December 8th, as a matter of fact. And what it is focused on: set new global benchmarks for trade rules and a range of practical cooperation initiatives to reduce barriers to digital trade and build an environment in which Australian businesses and consumers are able to participate and benefit from digital trade and the digitalization of the economy. So this is a working partnership between Singapore and Australia. Singapore decided to launch one of the biggest trade finance DLTs in the world. And now I see the trajectory. After reading this, I see the trajectory, because let me show you one more thing here. Cooperation on digital standards. This study recommends 10 areas of mutual benefit where Australia and Singapore can work on specific projects and programs to align on international standards, including artificial intelligence, distributed ledger technology, smart cities, digital identities, e-payments, e-invoicing, IoT, data protection, so forth and so on. So this agreement is definitely focused at distributed ledger technology, which would include the XDC network. XDC, you can also run digital identities on there, e-invoicing, that all falls under that umbrella of digitized trade. Again, if you watch the last XDC video that I did where we broke down their new XDC trade network platform, it gives you a list, and you'll see that that list corresponds with this page here, which is coming from the Australian government. Now, I'm going to show you something very strange here. I try to click this PDF, and apparently I am not worthy. So you guys saw that. It's very interesting, folks. Very interesting what's going on. XDC network. I'm always excited. Like I said, we're seeming to be pumping again, and that's because it's utility on the floor. It is utility on the floor. But that's all I got for this one, guys. If you found value, of course, you know what I need you to do. Hit that like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that way you don't miss the next one. As always, I want you to have a great day. Have a prosperous day. And as always, if that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'm Wade Teamer. I'll see you in the next one.